Hey guys, Kev here, and I have something to show you. So this is a new knife from Ketuo. This is the Happy Hour, and it's an M390 and titanium. The designer is Mitchell Picard, and as I understand it, this is a very unique knife. And I gotta say, Ketuo, Reich have been absolutely killing it. They've been destroying the knife game as of late. So shout out to them. I do have a Ketuo / Reich affiliate link. I'll put that down below. If you guys use that, it does help me out, but it's totally up to you guys. I only promote the affiliate links for companies that I like or products I recommend. So you can use it and feel comfortable that I am recommending it, not just out here shilling. Anyway, this thing looks sweet. It's $385. Now hold on, don't turn the video off. Let's take a look at it, and then you can decide if it's worth $385. Because from what I saw, it looks like it is. Now, whether you have that kind of money to spend is another animal, but here are some specs. Pause and read. Now, they called it Timascus on the website. This says Mokutai. Those are extremely similar. So just pointing that out. And here is the knife. It is in a little knife baggie. Now, I do understand that this is a little bit heavy. It said 5.07 ounces. It's on the heavier side for a pocket knife, at least for me. And the specs were interesting. I saw that it said a 3.44, I think, inch blade. But then the overall length was listed at 8.86, which makes me think the blade to handle ratio is way off. But that blade goes all the way to the end of the handle. So I'm curious if the specs were wrong or what's going on here. But look at this. So there's actually Timascus / Mokutai. Now, I would call this Mokutai. And the reason I say that is because you can see the golds in there. And when I see the golds in there, that tells me that it's Mokutai. Timascus is layers of titanium, right? It's titanium Damascus, Timascus. And Mokutai, at least in my opinion, is sort of a combination of Timascus and Mokume. Now, Mokume is layers of copper, brass, bronze, those stinky patina metals, right? So imagine if you take some of those patina metals and you mixed it with Timascus, you get a little bit of that gold in there. I think that's how it's done because you have Mokume, Mokutai, Timascus, Zircutai, right? I have a whole video about that. I probably need to update that video. It's from a couple of years ago. I've probably learned some stuff since then, but you can always check that out. So whenever I see that little bit of gold in there, I just call it Mokutai. I don't know if it's actually the patina metals or if it's just a sort of gold anodized titanium layer, right? Or from the heating process. I don't know. But anyway, Mokutai. And then you actually have a Damasteel gear patterned piece in there as well. So not only is there Mokutai, there's also Damasteel, which is pretty cool. And then you have the clip that is also made of Mokutai. You can see Ketuo is milled in there. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of having the brand name on the clip, but if you're gonna do it, that's probably the coolest way you could do it is mill it in. Don't laser it on in freaking white or black or whatever. So I think that's okay. Very cool. I will say that I am not the biggest fan of this Mokutai, if I'm being honest. It's just, I don't know, it's a little bit dull. I hate to say that. It doesn't like pop. It's not like a vibrant color like a lot of times Mokutai, Timascus, Zirkutai is. And you can kind of tell when it's the good kind and the, but it does look cool. Again, to me, it kind of almost just looks like a purple, blue, gold version of like lightning anno versus layers of titanium. But I'm being a little bit nitpicky there. But it is a almost $400 knife. Anyway, the thumb studs look to be just blue anodized titanium. And then you also have that down here. You do have some kind of liners going on here. I just realized my finger was just sliding close to the... I'm not touching anything. Just looks like it. It's not really that close at all. You have this sort of wheeled flipper tab. I'm a little curious how that's going to work. Not very jimped. Not very aggressive, I should say. It's definitely jimped. But it works. Now, it also has... Holy cow. It also has thumb stud. Now I understand maybe why the specs seemed a little off. Maybe it was cutting edge I was looking at or something. So that is actually pretty satisfying. Now, I do find it interesting that you have all this awesome stuff going on here, right? And then you have this blade grind is interesting. So you have a warnie, I guess, from here to here. The cutting edge ends right here. And then this is just all sharpening choil, I guess. Call it a finger choil. I mean, it's a massive finger choil if that's what it is. And it seems odd. Why not bring the edge back as far as you could? You could have utilized this area for the choil, and then you could have brought the edge all the way back to here. Or because it's not really a user knife necessarily, it's kind of more for collectors. It does say in the description that it's a collector and, EDC style knife or something like that. But why not just not have a choil at all? Just bring the edge all the way back, put a nice sharpening choil in there, and then you could just hold it back here like this, which is actually really comfortable. She is a thick girl, as you can see there. We do have a pig snout style of lanyard hole, which is nice. So you just loop your lanyard through the pig snout and you're good. Liner lock. Action feels good. I actually like that flipper tab. I do wish, obviously, it was more aggressive, but it does work. That tip looks awfully high, like you're going to be able to cut yourself with it, but seems like they managed to get it perfect. Hopefully they're all that way. I cannot get my finger in there, so that's awesome. Pocket clip looks decent. Retention is easy. It's not like stupid strong because it's a thin clip. So even though it looks like it's got a pretty pointy contact point there, I think it's going to work. Let's see. Oh, yeah. That's why they have that there, because it's a very loose feeling clip. I don't think it's going to slide anywhere or anything, but it's just very loose in and out. Let me try it on a double seam just to make sure. Or reinforced pocket, I should say. Yeah, I can get it all the way in. And it seats all the way to the end, which is nice. You don't have a ton sticking out. I mean, you have like this much of the knife sticking out right there. So that's not bad at all. Really good looking knife close. I like the blade shape a lot. I don't love this area here. It just looks like I don't know what they were thinking here, but that's the designer can tell you if he watches this. That is M. Picard, I mentioned earlier. So if he happens to watch this video, please let us know what the thought process was here, because I didn't see anything on the listing, and I don't quite understand it. I get that you want to have a finger choil, but I mean, this is like a 2-finger choil. Almost fit 2 fingers in there. Pinch grip, I'm just not quite understanding. I guess you could hold it like this, but from utility cutting or something, and do that. I mean, you got plenty of room, I guess. Maybe that's the thought process. You can just squeeze your whole hand in there and start slicing. It's interesting. Now, I haven't even tried to flick it. There's a hole there, so let's see. Oh, yeah. That fires, no problem. Action's good. It's not like guillotine drop shut, but that's actually my preference. I like it just like this. The thumb studs have jimping sort of like wheeled all the way around. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of like a toggle on, let's see if I can show you. You see how it's kind of like jimped all the way around? To me, it reminds me of like a toggle on a wheel you would spin. Like a screw head or something. Maybe like a throw lever, or if you've ever used one of those, what would you call it? It's like a sling mount, where you have to, I think Uncle Mike's makes it, where you have to like pull back and unscrew it, and then you can get it on. It's very much like that. It's like one of those little buttons you can screw and tighten and loosen, which usually have good grip. Yeah. Feels good there. Here's a clean look at that Mokutai pivot, and then the Damas steel inlay on the gear pattern thingy. Hard to explain that. Look at this. Flat ground blade with their bead blasted sort of frost finish. Liner lock. I'll take a check and see if that is titanium in a second. There's proud liners, which is interesting. There's that milling on the clip. And you can see there is some relief milling in there, but not a ton. Well, there's some, yeah. But it's still coming in at 5 ounces. And you can see it does thin out as the knife comes down. And I recently explained how I don't really like that, because it seems like you could yank the knife out of your hand easily. It just feels weird to me. This one, I don't really feel that. Maybe it's because the knife is large enough, or maybe the choil, but I feel locked in. I mean, you're not taking this from me, especially if I'm up here in this gangster choil. We have nice little relief cuts here, chamfers here. Same on the lock bar. It's real easy to disengage. Just disengage it, and it'll swing down. Again, you can thumb flick. You can reverse flick. Now, you can reverse flick on the stud, or you can put your finger in the hole there. I have a damaged nail though, so I use my left. Fires no problem. So you have all those options. I'm sure you could probably slow roll it with the hole as well. It's harder without the clip being left-handed. Does not reverse. Oh, wait. Nope, does not reverse. Looks like there's a cutout in the titanium on this side. Man, they could have easily just put a blue titanium filler tab over here instead of this screw, and then that clip would have been reversible. Maybe the curve didn't work or something. It would have been really nice to have a lefty clip. Yeah, the jimping on the flipper tab is pretty smooth. It's not very aggressive. I'd prefer it to be more aggressive, but I don't know if you've noticed. I have not slipped off it once. And that's probably because it's not really a light switch type flipper tab where you need to have that aggressive jimping to grip and rip. You're more push buttoning this, right? You're kind of pushing in and down and in at the same time, and it's nice. And the jimping doesn't tear you up because it's not aggressive. I think a nice touch on this would have been a landing pad, You have a little landing pad there, for example. Here's our design, the chaser. You have this chamfered area right here. Let's see if I can zoom in for you. See that? It's on both sides so that when you pull on this flipper tab, you're going to drag it down and you're going to slide your fingers across the tie. Well, you're going to go right through this smoothed out area instead of, you know, on here. Now, this is all, you know, the edges are chamfered really nice. None of it's sharp anyway, so it wouldn't have been a big deal. But, and the same thing goes here. But it's always nice to have that little bit of a landing pad so that when your finger lands, you barely even feel it. Feels really comfortable. Now, again, this is not uncomfortable or anything, but you're dragging your finger across it. Just would have been a cool little touch, I think. If you had it kind of match this stuff here along the back, would have been cool. I like the back spacer, minimal back spacer, maybe a full length or something would have been cool. For some reason, I feel like maybe I'm mixing it up with something else, but I thought they said this was an integral. It's obviously not. So I must have been mixing that up. Let me see if that liner is steel or titanium. Looks like that is going to be steel. So your lock bar is steel, which is good because it means you have steel on steel lockup. You don't have titanium there. Obviously, it's going to add to the weight. If they were able to do titanium liners and then just put an insert on it, it would have reduced the weight probably significantly. But it may have increased the cost significantly. So, you know, you got to pick your battles, so to speak. Let's do some measurements, and then I'll get you guys out of here. But very cool, the happy hour from Ketuo. So let's see here. Overall, we're going to be pretty thick. Be surprised if it's less than 0.6. I mean, it's really thick, yeah. Almost just at 0.6 inches. So she's a thick girl, if you know what I'm saying. And then the blade stock thickness is gonna be 0.14, 0.15, something like that. You know, average-ish, maybe a little bit on the thicker side, but not crazy or anything. Centering again is dead nuts perfect. Very, very nice. Action's good. I get a little bit of grab on the lock bar when I disengage it. Not stick by any means, but I would venture to guess it's just going to be a little bit of oil. If we take a Q-tip with a little bit of alcohol and clean it up like this, and then throw her open. Let it sit a second, get that alcohol onto that lock bar. It looks like we're onto the blade tang and then onto the lock bar. It looks like I have pretty good access here. So I can kind of open and close it, reapply a little bit at a time. Just trying to transfer that over to the lock bar as best I can to remove any oil from assembly or from the detemp ball or whatever. And if you do that a couple times, it usually goes away. Yeah, I mean, it's basically gone. It's gonna wear in essentially perfect. And honestly, you know what that tells me? We have 0 up and down play. We have 0 side to side play. This thing is a bank vault. Very nice. It looks like T8 on the pivot. We do have double-sided pivot. Can't tell you if there's a D shape there. I'm not going to take this apart. This is going to be a more premium knife that I don't think most people are going to actually take it apart anyway. Is this T8 as well? It looks, yeah. Ooh, good tooling as well. Took my bit with it. It looks smaller, but it's not. What else? Let me do measurements myself real quick on the blade length, because what I saw made no sense. So 3.44 seems pretty close. I mean, if you're going from the tip there, that's 3 1/4 pretty much, I would say. 3.3 at most to the handle. And the blade length, the cutting edge is literally 2.5 inches. So that is kind of sad. I really want to know why, if it's just aesthetic or what. And then 4.5 inches on the handle length. So it is not a, let me just double check. Yeah, 3.3 and 4.5, right? So, 7.8 inches or something. It's going to be like the size of a stout here. 7.5 on the stout. Little bit longer in the handle, but that's about it. So I don't know, where did I see those specs? They seem like way off to me. Let me just see if I'm crazy. So here, measuring 8.86 overall. So something is off there, because it's not 8.86. It's 7.86. Maybe they just had a typo. Because obviously here, 3.46 blade, 4.57 handle, right? That's not even 8 inches. So yeah, 7.8. They just had a typo, I guess, is where that got mixed up. But I mean, they even have it down here, 8.86. It's a little bit off. But they don't list the cutting edge, which I think is interesting. They should list that cutting edge, because it's a big difference. People buy a knife thinking it's a, 3.4 inch blade or whatever. Might be a little disappointed, but very cool. Overall, this thing is awesome. Not necessarily my style or anything, but I could definitely see the appeal. I could see why people are excited about it and why someone would want this in their collection, $385 on their website. You guys can use my link down below. It does help the channel. And if you're going to pick it up anyway, I would appreciate it, but it's totally up to you guys. I can tell you, just like all the Ketuo Reich stuff, the quality is 100% there. It just comes down to whether you want the design. That's really how it works with Reich and Ketuo. Their stuff is top-notch quality. So I love you guys. Thank you to Ketuo Reich. Appreciate you sending this my way. I am going to put this in my pass-around group. Let the fellas check it out. So you'll probably see some more videos on it, which I think is cool. I'd love to get everybody's opinion on this, because I think it's going to be interesting. So, love you. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.